London in 1880.
London after the catastrophe. Chronicle 1880. The city as a disrupted system. After the catastrophe should be understood primarily as a city that has lost its systemic integrity. Before the destruction, the city functioned as a complex but stable mechanism where transportation, housing, industry, trade, and administration supported one another. After the catastrophe, these interconnections were broken. The city continues to exist physically, but its elements no longer form a unified whole. Districts have ceased to fulfill their original functions, and the connections between them have become fragmented and unpredictable. Movement through the city no longer means traveling within a coherent structure. It has become a passage between isolated, weakly connected spaces. It is important to emphasize that the city is not in a state of active destruction. It exists in a prolonged after phase, where the primary event has ended, but its consequences remain unresolved. This condition is particularly severe because it lacks motion. There is neither collapse nor recovery. London exists in a state of extended aftermath. Architecture without function. The ruined architecture of London in 1880 no longer organizes space. Buildings that once defined order have become obstacles, hazards, or empty shells. Their forms have lost meaning because they no longer correspond to their internal structure. Many buildings remain standing, yet they are structurally unstable. This discrepancy undermines trust in the environment. Visual cues can no longer be relied upon. Every structure is potentially unsafe. Architecture has ceased to function as a language. It no longer communicates how space should be used. Interaction with the city becomes intuitive, cautious, and constantly uncertain. Housing and the loss of private space. Residential districts suffered not only physical damage, but conceptual collapse. The home ceased to be a space separated from the city. Destruction erased the boundary between inside and outside, between private and public. Exposed interiors create a sense of total openness. Objects that once belonged to individuals now exist as part of the urban environment. This destroys not only material order, but social structure. People no longer perceive housing as a place of recovery. Even intact buildings are surrounded by instability. The psychological function of shelter is lost. The street as a space of tension. In destroyed London, the street is not a place of interaction. It is a zone of constant risk assessment. Every step, every sound, every movement of air must be evaluated. Movement requires concentration. Any mistake may lead to injury. This produces a slow, restrained form of behavior, devoid of spontaneity. The street no longer supports life. It functions as a corridor of survival. Squares and the void of scale. Open urban spaces intensify the sense of emptiness. Their scale emphasizes the absence of content. Squares no longer attract people. They become areas to cross as quickly as possible. People avoid the center of these spaces, preferring edges where escape seems possible. This behavior reflects a deep mistrust of openness. The square ceases to symbolize the city. It becomes a void. The industrial landscape without motion. Industrial districts once generated constant movement, noise, smoke, labor. After the catastrophe, this motion vanished. Spaces designed for activity became static. The cessation of production affects the entire city. Without industry, the economic foundation collapses. With it, the structure of daily time disappears. The city no longer produces, it merely exists. The human presence in a ruined environment. People in the ruined city behave differently. Their movements are economical, their gestures restrained. Attention is directed toward space rather than toward other people. Social connections weaken, communication becomes minimal and functional. The city no longer supports the formation of communities. The human becomes an element of the environment, not its master. Material culture. After the catastrophe, clothing, household objects, and tools are governed entirely by environmental conditions. Aesthetics disappear. utility and wear remain. Social distinctions become less visible. The city visually equalizes its inhabitants. Individuals merge into a muted, dusty background. Material culture loses individuality. The absence of reconstruction. As a new normal, the lack of reconstruction gradually ceases to be perceived as temporary. It becomes normal. Destruction no longer shocks, it becomes background. This adaptation represents one of the most troubling consequences of the catastrophe. The city learns to exist without a future. The psychology of space. Even without direct danger, the city exerts pressure. It exhausts through monotony and instability. No action feels complete, no place feels settled. Psychological tension becomes chronic. The outskirts as a continuation of ruin. The outskirts offer no relief. They merely change the density of destruction. Spaces grow more open, but not safer. The boundary between the city and the outside world dissolves. The city as a state of being. London, in 1880, is not a story of catastrophe. It is a story of condition. The city does not move forward. It does not recover. It does not collapse further. It exists. And in that existence lies its defining characteristic,